The wrench slipped in my palm when she said it. I was kneeling on our bedroom floor, tightening the last bolt on a heavy walnut bed frame. The sun was dropping behind the lake outside her window, turning the room gold. The wood smelled old and clean. My heartbeat sounded louder than the metal turning in my hand. "Try it," she said softly. I looked up. Her eyes didn't move from mine. "With someone," she added. Then her voice dropped lower. "Like me." For a second, the whole room went still. The lake wind tapped the window. The floor creaked under her weight as she sat on the edge of the unfinished bed. And I knew the bed wasn't what she wanted tested. "My name is Mason Cole. I'm 25. I fix things for a living in a small lakeside town in northern Idaho. Decks, cabinets, broken doors, furniture that shows up in too many boxes. It's not big money, but it's steady. And steady feels safe. After my mom passed 2 years ago, safe was all I wanted. No risks, no big dreams. Just work, a small rental cabin, and the sound of pine trees brushing against each other at night. Ethan Harper has been my best friend since we were kids. We used to fish off the same dock where the paint always peeled. We'd sneak root beer from his mom's fridge and play video games in his basement until she told us to keep it down. Ethan left town. He works in Seattle now, designing aircraft engines. He talks about flights and deadlines like it's normal life. His mom, Laura Harper, stayed. Last week, Ethan texted me. "Mom bought some heavy antique bed frame, says she'll build it alone. She's 49. Can you help? I'll pay you." I laughed in my truck when I read it. Laura had always been strong, the kind of mom who carried all the grocery bags in one trip, the kind who fixed her own sink before calling anyone. "No payment," I texted back. "I'll swing by." I told myself it was simple. It wasn't. When I knocked on her door that evening, the sky over the lake was orange and soft. Her cedar house looked the same. The porch swing moved slow in the wind like it was breathing. She opened the door fast, like she'd been waiting. She wore a dark blue shirt and old jeans. Her hair was tied back, loose strands brushing her cheeks. She smiled. "Mason," she said, and my name sounded different in her mouth. She pulled me into a quick hug. Lavender. That smell hit me like a memory. Like being 15 again. Like summer sunburn and grilled cheese in her kitchen. But I wasn't 15. My shoulders were wider, my hands rougher. And when I stepped back, she didn't look like just someone's mom anymore. She looked like a woman. "Ethan says you're fighting a bed frame," I joked, holding up my toolbox. She laughed softly. "It's in the bedroom." I followed her down the hallway. The house was quiet, too quiet. Ethan's old room door was closed. The living room felt bigger than I remembered. The bed pieces were spread across the bedroom floor. Thick walnut, heavy, carved headboard. I knelt and started sorting bolts and rails. Laura leaned against the doorway, holding a mug of tea, watching. "Still good with your hands?" she asked. I smiled without looking up. "Haven't broken anyone's house yet." She stepped a little closer, not touching, just close enough that I could feel her there. The room was quiet except for metal turning and wood sliding into place. Then she said, "Your mom would be proud of you." My hand paused on the wrench. Most people in town stopped mentioning my mom, like grief was something fragile they might break if they said her name. But Laura said it steady, like it was allowed. I swallowed. She'd probably say I should be doing more than building beds. Laura didn't laugh. "She'd say you're still finding your way," she said. "And that's okay." I focused on the bolt, tightened it until the wood pulled snug, solid, no wobble. Something in my chest felt less tight just hearing that. After an hour, the frame was standing, strong, waiting for slats. "Coffee?" she asked. "Real coffee. Not the gas station kind you boys used to drink." "That sounds good," I said. When she came back, her fingers brushed mine as she handed me the mug. My heart kicked hard. She sat on the edge of the half-finished bed, testing the frame. It creaked once. "You should try it," she said. I blinked. "Try what?" Quote. She nodded toward the bed, lying down. Then she paused. "With someone." Her eyes held mine. Like me. The air changed. I stood there with a wrench in my hand like I'd forgotten what it was for. "Laura," I said quietly, "what are you saying?" She didn't smile it away. "I'm saying I'm tired of feeling invisible," she said. "I've watched you grow into a man who builds things that hold, and I'm tired of pretending I don't see you." My throat went dry. "Ethan is my best friend," I said. "I know," she replied, "and I'm his mother. I know that too." The floor creaked again as she shifted. "You can say no," she said gently, "but don't pretend you don't feel it." Because I did. I felt it every Tuesday I stopped by with donuts. Every time she laughed a little longer than needed. Every time the house felt less empty when I was inside it. I set the wrench down slowly. "What happened?" I asked. "Why now?" She looked down at her mug. "Ethan left last year," she said. "The house got quiet. The marriage ended long before that. I've been telling myself quiet is peace, but sometimes it's just lonely." Her voice didn't shake, but her eyes shone. I understood that. After my mom died, my cabin felt like a box with no air. I filled it with work, so I wouldn't have to hear my own thoughts. "I didn't mean to put this on you," she said quickly. "You came to build a bed." She started to stand, like she wanted to take it back. Without thinking, I reached for her wrist. She froze. Her skin was warm under my fingers. Real, alive. I let go fast. "Sorry." "It's okay," she whispered. We stood too close. Outside, the lake wind rattled the porch swing. Inside, the unfinished bed waited between us like a line we hadn't crossed. "I should finish," I said, dropping back to my knees. My hands moved steady again. Slats slid into place. Screws tightened down. Solid. Behind me, she watched. When I stood up, I cleared my throat. "Try it now. It's sturdy." She lay back slowly on the mattress. The frame didn't creak this time. "It holds," she said, but her eyes were on me. My phone buzzed in my pocket. The sound sliced through the room. I pulled it out. "Ethan, thanks for helping Mom," the text read. "She said you came through. You're the best man." My stomach dropped. Laura saw my face change. "I shouldn't have said anything," she whispered. Guilt hit hard. But so did truth. I locked my phone and slipped it back into my pocket. "I don't know what this is," I said quietly, "but I know it's not a game." She stood slowly. "Then don't make it one," she said. From the kitchen, the smell of garlic drifted through the hallway. "Stay for dinner," she added softly. "No pressure, just dinner." I looked at the bed I had built. Solid, steady. Then I looked at her. And I knew walking away would be easier, but staying would be honest. I stayed. Dinner should have made everything normal again. The kitchen lights were warm. A pot of water boiled softly on the stove. Garlic and tomatoes simmered in a pan, filling the house with a smell I hadn't felt in years. It was the kind of smell that meant home. But nothing felt simple. I sat at the wooden table while Laura moved around the kitchen like she had done it her whole life. Calm. Steady. Like she hadn't just turned my world sideways in the bedroom. "You don't have to sit like you're waiting for a verdict," she said without looking at me. I let out a slow breath and leaned back in the chair. The wood scraped against the floor, too loud in the quiet. She set 2 plates down. Spaghetti. Salad. Nothing fancy. We ate. The only sounds were forks against ceramic and the soft hum of the refrigerator. Every few bites, my mind replayed Ethan's text. "You're the best, man." I felt like the worst. Laura reached for her water glass. Her sleeve slid back, and I noticed the faint pale line on her finger where a wedding ring used to be. I stared at it longer than I should have. She noticed. "You're thinking about him," she said gently. "Yeah. You love him like a brother." "I do." She nodded once. "Then don't betray him." The words landed hard, not cruel, just clear. I pushed my plate away slightly. My appetite had disappeared. "I don't want to be that guy," I said quietly. "You're not," she replied. "Not yet. You're just standing at the edge of something you didn't expect." I looked at her across the table. "Did you expect it?" Quote. Her fingers tightened around her fork before she set it down. "No," she said. I asked you to come because my back was sore and I didn't want to wrestle that bed frame alone. That part was true. She held my gaze, but when you walked in, I realized how long it had been since someone looked at me like I was more than Ethan's mom. The air felt heavier. You started coming by on Tuesdays, she continued. Coffee, donuts, little excuses. I almost smiled. I didn't think you noticed. I notice a lot, she said softly. The truth of that settled between us. After my mom died, I had stopped showing up anywhere, unless I had to. Laura's house was the only place that didn't feel like it echoed. I didn't plan this, I admitted. I just didn't want to sit alone every night. Her eyes softened. I know that feeling, she said. Silence stretched. Then my phone buzzed again. This time it wasn't a text. It was a call. Ethan. The name glowed on the screen like a warning light. Laura's face went pale. Answer it, she whispered quickly. Right now. My fingers felt stiff as I swiped to accept the call. Hey, I forced out. Mason! Ethan's voice was bright. Easy. You at Mom's? My throat tightened. Yeah, just finished the bed. Stayed for dinner. He laughed. Man, thank you. She sounded happier in her message. I've been worried about her out there alone. Alone. The words scraped inside my chest. Yeah, I said carefully. She's doing okay. Put her on for a sec, he said. I want to say hi. I looked at Laura. She shook her head fast at first. Then she closed her eyes, inhaled, and straightened her shoulders. I handed her the phone. Hi, sweetheart, she said, voice warm and steady. I watched her talk. She asked about work, told him to eat more, told him to sleep. She laughed in the right places. She was good at pretending. When she handed the phone back, Ethan said, Love you, Mom. I love you too, she answered. The call ended. The kitchen felt colder. That, Laura said softly, staring at the floor, is why this can't be a secret. It's not a secret, I said quickly. Nothing happened. But something almost did. She wasn't wrong. I stepped closer to her. I don't want to stop seeing you. Her breath caught. And I don't want to hurt him, I added. Her lips trembled faintly. Those two things might not fit together. Outside, the porch swing creaked in the wind. Inside, we stood in a kitchen that suddenly felt like a line drawn in the sand. I drove home that night with both hands tight on the steering wheel. The road along the lake was dark. Pine trees leaned over the pavement like they were whispering. I didn't turn on the radio. I kept hearing Ethan's voice. Love you, Mom. And I kept seeing Laura's hand hovering near my face before she pulled it back. I didn't sleep. The next morning, I worked like nothing had changed. I fixed a porch step for an older couple, measured boards, drove screws, nodded at people in the hardware store. But my mind was still in that kitchen. Around noon, my phone buzzed. Laura, thank you for answering. Thank you for not lying. I'm sorry I pulled you into this. I stared at the screen before typing back. You didn't pull me. I walked in. We can't hide this. Her reply came fast. I agree. I'm scared. But I agree. That was the moment I knew what I had to do. That evening, I called Ethan. He answered on the second ring. What's up? I stood behind my truck in the gravel lot behind the diner. The sun was dropping behind the trees. Ethan, I said, and my voice shook. I need you to hear me all the way before you say anything. Silence. Okay, he said slowly. What is it? Quote. I swallowed. I've been at your mom's place a lot, not just for the bed. We've had dinners. We've talked. It started innocent. I swear it did. Quote. Another silence. And now? He asked. It started feeling like more. I forced out. Nothing happened. No affair. No lies. But I felt something. And I hate that I did. The quiet on the other end felt endless. You're telling me, Ethan said carefully, that you have feelings for my mom. I'm telling you, I realized it before it went too far. And I'm telling you because you deserve the truth. His breath came through the phone rough. How long? A few weeks. And last night? You called right when it was about to cross a line. I admitted. Silence again. Then he said, tight and steady, put me on with her. She's not here. Then tell her I'm coming home. My stomach dropped. What? Tomorrow, he said, and Mason, don't go near her until I get there. The line went dead. I stood in the gravel, staring at nothing. I had just torn something open. But at least it wasn't hidden anymore. I texted Laura. He knows. He's coming tomorrow. A minute later, she replied, "Thank you for being honest. I'll be ready." The next day felt like waiting for a storm. By late afternoon, Ethan's rental car rolled into the gravel driveway by the lake. I didn't park in front of the house. I stopped down the road near the dock where we used to fish as kids. The water was still. The sky hung low and gray like it knew something heavy was about to land. My chest felt tight. My palms were damp. An hour passed. Then my phone buzzed. "Laura, come." I walked up the gravel path slowly. Each step sounded louder than it should have. The porch swing moved in the wind. The light above the door was already on. Before I could knock, the door opened. Ethan stepped outside and closed it behind him. He looked the same. Same height. Same strong build. But his eyes were different. Guarded. Hurt. "I talked to her," he said. I nodded. "Okay." He studied my face like he was trying to find the boy he grew up with. "You two didn't do anything?" he asked. "No," I said. "We didn't cross that line." His jaw tightened. "But you wanted to." I didn't lie. "Yes." He looked away toward the lake. His hands went to his hips, like he needed something to hold him steady. "Do you love her?" he asked. The question hit deep. "I don't know if it's love yet," I said honestly, "but I care about her, and I didn't plan it." The front door opened again. Laura stepped onto the porch. She didn't look ashamed. She looked tired, strong, like someone who had decided not to hide anymore. "Ethan," she said softly. He turned toward her, and for a moment, he looked like a little kid again. "Mom," he answered, voice cracking. "Why him?" Her breath shook, but she didn't cry. "Because he listened," she said. "Because he saw me, not just as your mother, not as someone filling time, just me." Ethan flinched. "You're my mom," he said. "You're supposed to be." "A person?" she finished gently. "I am." The wind picked up, brushing her hair across her cheek. "I didn't plan this," she continued. "I tried to ignore it, but I won't lie, not to you, not to myself." Ethan looked at me. "And what do you want?" he asked. This was the moment. "I want you in my life," I said, "and I want her in my life. But if I have to choose, I'll step away. I won't sneak around. I won't break your trust." Laura's head turned sharply toward me. "Mason!" I kept my eyes on Ethan. "I won't be the reason you lose your mother," I said. Silence stretched between us. Finally, Ethan let out a breath like something inside him gave way. "I don't want her lonely," he said quietly. "But I don't know how to be okay with this." "That's fair," Laura replied. He rubbed his face hard with one hand. "I need time." "You'll have it," she said. He looked back at me. "You're going to give us space," he said, "if you respect me at all." "I will," I answered, and I meant it. That night, I walked back down the gravel path alone. The porch light stayed on behind me. I didn't know if I had just lost her or saved something bigger. Weeks passed. I stayed away from the lake house. I poured myself into work, built a dining table for a young couple, fixed a roof for an old man who paid me in cash and homemade jam. Life kept moving, even when your heart felt stuck. Ethan didn't call. Laura didn't text. Until one evening my phone buzzed. "Ethan." I stared at the screen before answering. "Hey," I said. "Hey." His voice was quiet, not angry, just tired. "I'm not okay with it," he said. "Not fully." "I understand." "But she's been happier," he continued. "She started painting again, signed up to teach at the community center. I haven't heard her laugh like that in years." My chest tightened. "I hate that it's you," he admitted. "But I hate more that she was fading, and I didn't see it." "I'm sorry," I said softly. "I know," he replied. "And you told me the truth. You didn't hide it." He paused. "If anything happens," he added, "it's slow, it's open, no secrets." "Yes," I said. He exhaled. She has a small art show next Friday at the community center. She asked if you'd come. She told me she won't if it's too much for me." "Are you going?" I asked. "I am," he said, "because she's my mom, and I'm trying." My throat burned. "I won't make you regret it," I promised. Friday night, I stood in the back of the community center with my hands in my pockets. Fluorescent lights hummed overhead. Folding chairs lined the walls. Paper cups of punch sat on a plastic table. Laura's paintings hung around the room. Lakes, pine trees, sunsets that looked like they held secrets. She stood near the center with her hair down, wearing a soft gray sweater. There was a small streak of paint near her wrist. When she saw me, her shoulders stiffened. Then Ethan stepped beside her and said something low. Her body eased. Ethan looked across the room at me. He gave a small nod. Not approval, not forgiveness, just space. Laura walked toward me slowly. She stopped close enough that I could see the faint lines at the corners of her eyes. "Hi," she said. "Hi." Her voice was steady, but her eyes searched mine. "Thank you for not running," she whispered. "Thank you for not hiding," I replied. We stood there in that simple room. No music, no dramatic moment, just quiet honesty. She held out her hand, not demanding, just offering. I took it. Across the room, Ethan watched us. His jaw was tight. His eyes were wet. But he didn't look away. Laura squeezed my fingers gently, and for the first time since that night in her bedroom, I felt something solid beneath my feet. Not the bed I built, not wood or screws, the truth. If you believe stories still matter, go ahead and hit subscribe. Stories Beyond the Porch. Drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. I love seeing how far these stories travel.